Most young men want to make money online. We've seen people like Iman Gadji and Andrew Tate popping off on social media, and every single young man has that calling deep inside of them that they want to make more money to be able to provide for the people that they're around them. Like, they want to have more freedom, they want to be able to provide. These are two of the core, like, instinctual desires of masculinity. Masculine energy craves freedom, and masculine energy craves protection of the people that we love. These are fine things. The world might try and convince you that you're not supposed to have these desires, but there's a reason why every single one of us has these desires. The only people that don't have these desires are the people that have just been programmed so deeply by society that they've been taught to forget about these desires and just go down the average path. But if this YouTube video is anywhere near your For You page, the fact that you've clicked on this video, you are probably one of the people like me where we've not been programmed to a point where we reject our own fundamental characteristics as men. We want freedom. We want to be able to provide. But I've been thinking about this for a lot the past few days. And it's that most people that try and make money online are doing it completely wrong. Because when that step number one of wanting to be ambitious and start making money online, obviously the first thing that you're going to do is go on YouTube and type in how do I make money, blah, blah, blah. You're going to look up to the people like Iman Gadji and Andrew Tate, and you start to get into this space where you're hearing about business, because we all know that the career path that will earn you the most money, the highest upside potential, is business. All of the richest people in the world are businessmen. So we know, okay, if I work for the rest of my life, I'm going to be fat and smelly and have a 9 to 5 and hate my life and not feel very fulfilled. I'm definitely not going to have that freedom. I'm definitely not going to be able to have that freedom to put my mum on a direct debit. Or I can get into entrepreneurship. Fucking hell, that sounds great. That sounds exactly what I want. Starting a business, being the big boss, being a CEO, getting suited up, running meetings and making a fuckload of money. That's what guys see. And that is the goal. Like, we want to be entrepreneurs. We want to build things. We want to have our own company. We want to be our own boss. We want to live life on our own terms. But there's a problem with this. There's a big problem. Because for little Jimmy, who's, he's maybe 22 years old. He's just finished university and he's just got his first postgrad job. He's got his 9 to 5 and he's now realized, fuck, I've just spent 30 grand in order to get this degree. And as a reward for getting this degree, I'm rewarded with a 26k a year salary with a job that I really don't like. I really don't like my boss. I really don't like my train to work every morning. I don't like the amount of money that I'm being paid. And I don't like the fact that I've got to ask that smelly nigger over there if I want to go to the toilet. And that's your reward for going to university. So you're 22, you've just come to this realization that this life ain't for me. I want something more. But there's a problem with little Jimmy. He's 22. He's finished. He's got his degree. He's got his job. There's a problem. He wants to get into business. But the big problem is he doesn't have the skills to get into business. Did school teach him the skills to get into business? No. Even if he got a business degree, did that teach him the skills to start a business and be a successful entrepreneur? No. Because he's learned from a lecturer, a professor, or whatever the fucking tutor's called in university. I didn't go to university, and now I pay my mum a direct debit and I live on the 41st floor of a brand new high-rise apartment. But anyway, little Jimmy didn't learn the skills to start a business. So he goes on social media, looks at some YouTube videos, la-di-da-di-da. Oh, I want to make money online. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start drop shipping or e-commerce or an agency, and I'm going to make a load of money. And then a month goes by, he's not getting any results. Another month goes by, and he's just been scammed by Andrew Tate. And he's invested in some £3,000 course. And it's like, well, where do I go from here? 4 months go by, still not making any money. And he's like, is there something wrong with me? Or does this just not work? Well, the reality is, for little Jimmy, so we've got little Jimmy here. The reality is, for little Jimmy, it's not that it doesn't work. This is not the case, because it does work. Because my mindset is always, if there is someone else out there doing it, then it does work. Is there other people that have successful dropshipping businesses or e-com stores or agencies or AI software companies? Yes. So therefore it does work. But that's not why it didn't work for Little Jimmy. It's not that he necessarily got scammed. It's not necessarily that he did get scammed. It's not necessarily that he got sold a lie. I'm going to half cross it out because he kind of got sold a lie. He got sold a lie that this was going to be easy. He got sold a lie that anyone can do this. Anyone can start a business. Anyone can start a business. So it wasn't necessarily a lie. And anyone can do it. It's definitely not a lie. But there's one major thing that is missing. And this is the real reason why Little Jimmy didn't get any results. Because he lacks the foundation. He lacks the foundation to go on and start that successful business. It's so cool. It's such a cool idea, being your own boss and running your own business. But building a business, if we call a spade, and I know because I'm here, I run a business, having your own business takes a lot of skills. You need sales. That's the most important one, because without sales, you're not going to make any money. So sales, most people start a business before they even master sales. You need marketing. You need recruitment. You need financing. You don't necessarily, financing/finances. Not everyone needs financing. Not everyone needs investors in their company. Some people bootstrap it. But you are going to need to understand finances. How do big companies operate with their finances? Because there's a reason why British Gas will have a fucking finance director that's probably paid about 400 grand a year to manage a team underneath him to manage the finances of the company. Financing is a skill that people overlook. They don't know how business finances work. They need sales, they need marketing, they need recruitment, they need financing. They need HR/PR. They need like the legal side covered, because oh my gosh, if anyone's got into e-com or dropshipping and started to get a little bit of traction, you know that you're going to get lawsuits coming in from all angles. You need lawyers in your company. You need all of this. You need all of these things in order to create a successful business in 2026. And how does Little Jimmy go from passing his degree, which everyone passes? It's not hard to get a degree. If we call a spade, I've seen some real retards out there in the world that have got a degree. So he's just passed his degree. He's just got his first job. But Little Jimmy, he's got such big dreams. But how is Little Jimmy going to compete in business when he lacks all of these skills? Because if we, like spade a spade, I like that saying, and you're going to hear me say that a lot. But if we call a spade, business is one big competition. And it is a game where winner takes all. Winner takes all in business. It's a competition. If you start a marketing agency, you're competing against all of the other businesses that have a marketing agency for customers. And guess what? If Little Jimmy has a marketing agency and he doesn't have this skill or 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 this skill, Timmy's going to be banging his head against a brick wall by the end of the first 2 weeks, because none of his customers want to go with him. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the credibility. He got on his first sales call and he doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He doesn't know how to compete against these guys that have got all of these skills, that have been in the market for such a long time. Now, there is a solution to this. It's not like all hope is lost for Little Jimmy, but there is two paths that Little Jimmy can go down. So we've got Jimmy. He's stuck. Now, path number one is he can start a business. He can start a business. He can struggle. He can struggle and learn why he's struggling for 2 to 5 years before he finally gets some results. And even this is not guaranteed. Not at a single point of this is it guaranteed, because that's one thing that you have to understand about business. No matter what the guru on the internet tells you, it is not guaranteed. You could be going for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years and still never get results. How many success stories have you seen from some of the richest people in the world that said, I failed for 35 years? I started business and it was dark and I thought about killing myself. I went through 2 divorces. I made no money and I was broke for 30 years straight until I finally made it. There's no guarantee. So you can go down the route of starting a business, which is cool and it is fun, but it's not fun unless you're making money. And you can go down this path where really you're just playing the game on hard mode. And as a logical man, as you know, we were speaking a little bit about fundamental characteristics of men earlier in this video. We know that a fundamental characteristic of men is we're usually a little bit more logical. Not always, but we're usually a little bit more logical. Logically, if I want to make money, I want to retire my mum as fast as possible, I want to live on the 41st floor of a high-rise, brand new apartment building, why would I want to go the hard route? When there is another route for little Jimmy. Route number 2, instead of starting a business, you plug into an already successful business. You plug into an already successful business. Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. Because this is what I did. I was working at Amazon. I tried a few business models, didn't make jack. I made like a tiny little bit from being a freelancer on Fiverr doing color grading, but all of the actual businesses that I started, I didn't make no money. And when I'm talking about the color grading on Fiverr, I'm probably talking about 15 quid. I didn't make anything, right? And then I moved over to Nando's and I was like, okay, you know what? Fuck this business stuff. I'm just going to focus on becoming the best version of myself. Whilst I was doing that, I was locking in. I was going to the gym. I was on self-improvement. I was reading books from all of these business owners. And I was had it in my head that one day I'm going to start a business owner like Robert Kiyosaki or like Alex Becker or like Alex Hormozy. And I'm reading all of these business books and I'm just focusing on becoming a better version of myself because I understood the philosophy that the money you make depends on who you are as a man. If you want to make the money, you have to become the man that deserves to make the money. You have to have good habits. You have to be willing to invest in yourself, invest into the gym. I invested in the most expensive gym membership I possibly could on my £260 wage at Nando's. And I had it in my head that one day I'm going to start a business. And then I met my mentor because I went to this really expensive gym. And I was trying to network as much as possible to get my money's worth at this gym. And I was speaking to this guy who became my mentor. And he was a really successful guy, had a really boring business to do with like shipping cargo between countries. And he was making bank. And he told me, he looked at me, he was like, didn't you say that you started in door-to-door sales? I was like, that is correct. I did start in door-to-door sales. It's like, why are you trying to start a business before you've mastered your skills and before you have a foundation? You said you have a sales background. Why don't you just make it your mission to get really, really good at sales? He said, do you know how much the top performing salespeople in the world earn? I was like, no. He said, more than doctors. He said, more than doctors. More than lawyers and more than doctors. He said, I know salespeople that are taking home 60 grand a month after tax because they got really, really good at their skill. And after that, I was like, huh. Because when I was 17, I did a bit of door-to-door sales. Didn't really make much money. But I could see the progression and it was a valuable skill and it gave me a lot in my self-development. So I had this idea to go online and try and find a way to make money online through sales. So essentially what I did is I got back into sales, but online sales. Not going to the office and dealing with the boss that I don't like. I decided to live life on my own terms, have that freedom by doing sales. And honestly, that conversation that I had with my mentor has been the one thing that has changed my life forever. Because instead of focusing on starting the business before I had that foundation, I focused on building that foundation. So we've got path 1 where you're starting a business, or you've got path 2, which is building a foundation. Plugging into an already successful business and building skills. Building skills, learn how business works, mastery, so you're going to master one thing, and make money by providing value exchange. So basically, let me make this simple. What I did is I got into something called high ticket sales. This is what I did. After this conversation with my mentor, I wanted to make money online. I was set on making money online. I wanted to get out of my Nando's job. I wanted to be able to pay my mum a direct debit every single month. And I wanted to make more money. Now, high ticket sales is what I got into. And basically, instead of starting my own business, in high ticket sales, I just approached different businesses on Instagram. And I was like, let me sell for you. Let me help you make more money. And if I make a sale for you, all I want in return is a commission. My writing is terrible, but all I wanted was a commission. All I want is like, if you sign a deal, then I just want 11% of that commission. That was my first deal. I had 11% in commission. And this business owner that I started working for, he was selling packages that ranged between £4,000 and £8,000. He had an agency, a creative and distribution. And because he had massive case studies, so I can't even multitask of writing and talking at the same distribution. Right, so he had an agency of creative and distribution. So basically, he had massive case studies. He'd worked with people like Iman Gadji, scaled Iman Gadji's brand up, and he had massive case studies, and he was super credible in the industry. Imagine if I started that business. Imagine if I started his agency, and I was going up to business owners and was like, I can scale your personal brand. I'm going to clip all of this content up for you, and I'm going to post it on these pages, and I'm going to make you go viral, blah, blah. Imagine if I did that. Yes. £100,000 a month business owner. Hello, my name's Temi. Yes, I'm going to scale your business, and I'm going to help you get to £500,000 a month. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to make all of these pages and blah, 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 and I'm going to cut your content up with my specific strategies to help you go viral. Okay, Temi, big man. So you're going to help me scale my business. How are you going to do that? Oh, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Okay. So who have you done that so far? Have you got any results? Have you got any testimonials? Is there any reason why I should listen to you, little Temi, on why you're going to help me? Imagine if I started that business. Can you see why I'd be destined to fail? Whereas this guy already had credibility. He had clients that were paying him a lot of money. He already had the confidence in his services. He had the case studies. He had the skill set to be able to deliver results for these clients. What was easier for me? Was it easier for me to try and charge someone £4,000 for something that I've never done before in my life, and I've got no proof of concept? Or was it easier for me to go to this guy and be like, I'll help you sell your thing, or like, you don't have to pay me anything, I just want like a percentage of the sales that I help you get. And you realize now how, oh, well, that makes sense. Because I'm going to make more money doing this rather than struggling to do this, because I get my percentage. If he signs a £4,000 deal, then cool, I've just pocketed £400 today. A little bit more than that. I've just pocketed 400 quid. And all I have to do was focus on one thing, rather than focusing in on this thing, and 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 this thing. All I have to focus is on, I have to get really good at this. I'm going to make it my life's work into mastering this one thing. And that is going to act as my foundation. And then once I've got this one thing and I want to start a business in the future, okay, well, I already know how to get sales through the door because I've got really good at selling to people now, and I've got a little bit of foundation of my building. And that money is going to give me money to invest in talents, talented people that can do this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing, and this thing. I can use the money that my business has already generated from the sales to then invest in talent that's going to scale my business further. But the foundation was built on my sales skills because I dedicated myself to mastering sales. And that's why high ticket sales is so insane. That's why high ticket sales is so insane. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down here, boys, because this was truthfully the most revolutionary mindset shift that I ever had, because I was like, this makes so much sense. If you look at the data, go on Google right now and fact check me on this information. Type in, what percentage of billionaires started off in sales? And then go and say, what percentage of millionaires started off in sales? And you're going to find that there's one common characteristic with all of the most successful people in the world is they didn't try and shoot for the fucking stars before they could even walk. They learned to crawl, they learned to walk, they learned to run, then they learned to run really fast, and then they decided to run all the way over there and start building a rocket ship. And even that took a damn long time. And the great thing is once you understand how to leverage your skill set, the amount of money that you can make is still going to give you the freedom that you was looking for in the first place. A lot of people get into high ticket sales, they start making 10k a month, and then it's like they don't even want to start a business anymore because it just seems like too much work. A lot of people don't even really care about the business side of things. A lot of people actually just care about the money. They just want to have the money and be able to live their life. They just want to be able to make 6 figures, buy a nice car, get a Fitbird, have a nice apartment, and send their mum money every single month. That's what most people want. It's not even about the business in the first place. It's just about the money. And what I realized is that it's so much easier to earn money when you focus on mastering one thing rather than just trying to fucking forage your way to glory through business when you've got to deal with a million different things. Now, the reason why this makes more sense as well, because let me explain how high ticket sales works, right? So let's say we have an influencer. We've got an influencer here. He's got 1 million followers. A lot of influencers don't make as much money as you think they would. Maybe they sell fitness coaching for £2,000. And maybe they've got loads of leads coming in every single month, but this influencer's good at one thing. This influencer did a good job because they learned one skill, which was social media. But because they don't know how to sell, this influencer might only be making about 30k a month. And I know how I say only, but like the reality is in business, 30k a month is not a lot of money. I do not have a lot of followers on social media, but I've still made 40 grand in January and 36 grand in February. So far this year, it's the 5th of March and I've already made 80 grand this year, right? So 30k a month on the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money. This influencer would be making so much more money if only they knew how to sell. So you go to this influencer, I'm like, I'm going to help you sell, pal. I just want a commission of that. I just want to earn a percentage. And then there's two ways that you can help this influencer. There's two parts of high ticket sales. There is the setter and there is the closer. Now, this is what I did. This is what I started in because I thought that this was the most similar to what I'd been doing previously. When I was doing door-to-door sales, I was essentially a setter. I was going to people's doors, knock, 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 and I was convincing them to book a sales meeting with the closer on why they need better windows and doors. And I was setting the closer up for the call. My job was to make them interested in getting new windows and doors. I wasn't selling them the windows and doors. I was making them interested and selling them on why they should have a sales meeting with the closer. So what you would do as a setter is you log into their Instagram. You log into their Instagram accounts on social media. You reply to their DMs. If they've got 1 million followers, then they're getting a lot of DMs. You reply to their DMs really quickly as you can and as best as you can, and you send them over to the closer. Now, most influencers are not very good at this because even though this sounds simple, and the title of this video as well, it's boring. It is very boring. It's very, very, very boring. Replying to text messages all day is quite boring. You've got to understand that most people that you talk to on a day-to-day basis are probably going to be incompetent. Because if you're, let's say, on a trading offer and someone's looking to make money online in trading and he's 26 years old and he wants to make money online in trading, well, the reality is the only reason why he's stuck is because he got in his own way. He's 26. He's not happy with his life. That means he hasn't sorted his life out before then. That means that for the last 6 years of his life, since he was 20 years old, he's not done anything about it, which means he's probably a little bit incompetent. It's not very fun talking to these people every day. Fitness coaches. You're going to be talking to fat people that haven't sorted their life out. It's not very fun talking to these people every day, truthfully, but you do get to help people, which is a good thing. But most influencers are not very good at this. They don't understand the sales psychology. They don't know how to actually run a proper sales conversation on Instagram. They're not running their business like a business. They're running their business like an influencer who has no idea how to run a business, because that's what they are, right? So you master the skill of replying to DMs and selling to people through their DMs. And what you're going to find is that it's so easy to get to a point where you're making between 5 and 10k a month. I mean, even if I go over to my community right now, and go to the wins section, what we got going on here. So Harvey, he made 3.7k, £3,750 in a day, in one day. DM closed, 10k DM closed. Do you think Harvey would be able to go onto his own Instagram account and start closing people for 10 grand through DMs, through Instagram DMs, on his own little personal Instagram account with pictures of him and his mates for a service that he doesn't really know how to do, or he's got no proof of concept? But because his client has been in the industry for 7 years and who is an absolute expert at marketing, when Harvey's selling marketing packages for 10K, it's a great deal because the person that he's working for has already built the foundations for the business, right? So it's so easy to get to 5 to 10K a month as long as you get really, really good at managing this skill. Because if we do some maths, if it's a £2,000 package, and let's be conservative and say that we are on 5%. Let's say that we're on 5%. If we wanted to make, let's say he's got 1 million followers on social media, he makes one sale a day. You book 3 sales calls every day, and out of 3 sales calls, one of those should convert into a close. We've got £2,000 every single day, times by 3. So 2,000 times by 30 even. That is in itself £60,000 a month. If you're on, let's say, and again, conservative, my first appointment setting client that I ever signed, before I even had proof that I was good at appointment setting, I was on 11%. But let's say you're on 5%, £60,000, 5% of that is in your pocket as profit as well, 100% profit. You've just earned yourself £3,000. And for an influencer with 1 million followers, if you was making 60 grand a month on one of my clients, you'd get sacked very quickly. So that's how quickly you can scale this if you get really, really good at the skill. And then you make 3 grand this month. And then next month you get even better because you've been reading sales books, you've been watching podcasts, you've been dedicating all of your time to how can I get better. And then the next month that you make after that, you make 4,000. And then you make 5,000 because you're getting better and better and better and better and better. There is only 3 things. I call this the sales money equation. 3 things that determine your income in sales. Mindset times activity times performance. Mindset. Do you have the right mindset? Are you buying the books that you need in order to level up? Are you investing in getting in the right rooms, going to networking dinners, buying the equipment, buying your new MacBook, or anything that it takes for you to do your job better? Are you buying it without hesitation? And are you committing the time into actually getting better every single day? Activity. How hard do you work? If you send 50 DMs on Instagram, you're going to get paid a lot more if you send 150 DMs. So how hard you work determines how much you make. And then performance. How good do you get at the skill? Because this is a commission-based industry, if you do a good job, you make loads of money. So the only 3 things that are going to dictate how much money you earn as a setter is mindset times activity times performance. Going back to this whole thing here, this one's not guaranteed. This one is guaranteed. This is guaranteed as long as you tick off all 3 of these things. You have a good mindset. You're investing in yourself. You're doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. You're putting in the work. You're working hard day in, day out, and you get good at what you're actually doing. If you get good at these 3 things as an appointment setter, it's unreasonable for you not to make money. Average appointment setters earn, truthfully, not selling the dream here, 2 to 4K a month. Forget the 10K a month. Average appointment setters make 2 to 4K a month. But let me ask you a question. Is it safe to say that most average people don't work very hard? Most average people are pretty fucking dumb. Just calling a spade a spade. Most people are pretty dumb. Most people don't work that hard. If average appointment setters are making 2 to 4K a month, I see that and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is opportunity. Oh my gosh, this is opportunity. When I first got into this, I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't go to sleep. I had to just keep sending messages and messages and messages. Because I was like, if average people are making 2 to 4K a month, there's no way that I'm not absolutely milking this dry and changing my family's life forever. In my first 5 days, I made 1.5K for appointment setting. In my first 5 days. Average people don't work very hard. If average people are making 2 to 4K a month, my opinion is I can do double that. The most money that we ever had anyone in our community making was a guy called Thierry. And he's from the Netherlands. His English is pretty good, but he's got an accent. So he just decided, I'm just going to work with a business owner that's in the Netherlands. and he worked with this e-commerce coach in the Netherlands, and he made $17,000 in commissions in a single month as an appointment setter. As a setter, right? He made 17K. It was 13K after tax as an appointment setter. Like, how is there a world where 20-year-olds are making fucking 17 grand in a month from literally sat there sending DMs on Instagram? It's boring. It's not cool. You're not going to go home and be like, Hinge bio, appointment setter. Guys, I've made it. I'm an appointment setter. But truthfully, when you turn around to your mom and be like, Mom, you've been a great mum to me. I love you very much. Here's 5 grand. Fucking, you all going to feel like the big dog. It's honest work. It's boring work. It's honest work. But if you're a man, sometimes you have to be willing to do the boring work, to build a foundation and provide your family a better life. Because this is something as well that you can do from anywhere. You can do it from absolutely anywhere. The amount of appointment setters that make their first 5K a month and then just say, fuck it, I'm moving to Thailand. Like, Thailand is like the land of appointment setters. If you go to Thailand, in like Koh Samui, Thailand, or Bangkok, all you're going to see there is appointment setters, closers, appointment setters. Because all of the guys just move over there and they look back at the UK and be like, how is actually no one doing this? Why are people actually just going to sleep at night, getting 8 hours, watching Netflix when they could be doing this? They could be. They can give themselves that life. But anyway, tangent over. Going back to closers, right? And then we've got closers. A closer's job is to log into Zoom and collect the cash. So the closer's job is they have to sit there in a room and they have to actually collect, they have to do the selling, discover about the prospects, sit there, tell them the price, handle any objections and collect the payment on the call. That's what the closer's job is to do. Now, closers typically earn higher commission. Setters typically earn lower commission. Setters have more freedom. Closers have to have less freedom because they have to sit in a sweaty ass room, sweating their armpits off, closing deals, and it gets sweaty, it gets frustrating. You're taking the same calls back to back to back, 10 calls a day. It's a little bit long. But as a young man, you need to be willing to do it if it's a little bit long. You still get to work from your own home or from Belgium in a 5-star hotel if you want to, if that gives you more aura. If it helps your aura, then why not? That's a good investment. That's the mindset that I'm talking about. Pro tip, anything that you can invest in that gives you aura is automatically a win. I invested in my apartment because it gives me aura, and that aura goes across into all areas of life. From my business meetings, when I'm talking to my business clients, when I'm recording videos, it gives me aura, so I'll invest in it. I'll put 6 months rent down up front, bang, there you go. Wipe out my account, there, yeah, I'll buy the apartment. But yeah, both of these opportunities, this is high ticket sales in a nutshell. Both of these opportunities is one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. And I've been thinking about it so much because over the past few years, we've had so many students start as a setter and they progress. Because I was thinking about this part of things. People are willing to dedicate 5 years in a job to finally get the promotion. And they get what? A fucking 5% pay rise? 10% pay rise? 20? 20% pay rise is pretty nuts. Or I'm just thinking about it and it's like we had a guy called Danny. So let's say Danny. He had a corporate job where he was making quite a good amount of money for a 23-year-old. Not sure how much he was making, but if I was to guess, it was probably at least 5K a month. I don't know. Danny might think, he really thinks I was that broke. He thinks I was only making 5 grand a month. I don't know how much he was making, but he was getting paid a good amount for a 23-year-old. He had this corporate job as a project manager. And he got into setting and just did it on the side, part-time, 2 to 3 hours a night. Once he got home from work, he got to a point where he was making 7K per month through setting plus his job income. So he had like 7K a month coming in through appointment setting and 5 grand a month coming in through like his job. And again, 5 grand a month. This is not confirmed, but I can confirm that he was making 7 grand a month through appointment setting part time. And then what he decided to do is like, okay, I've got a really good foundation in appointment setting. I'm making loads of money. Fuck it. I'm going to quit the job. He fucked off the job. He booked a one-way flight traveling. I think at the moment he's in Bali. He's just been to Vietnam and Thailand, and he's full on traveling Asia. He's traveling at the moment, and decided, instead of being an appointment setter, I'm going to become an appointment setting manager. And he leveled up. And it's like, this whole process from here to here is like a 6 months period. Most people are working 5 years for a fucking promotion or pay rise. As an appointment setter, there's nothing stopping you from just going to the next level as long as you get good at the skill. Now he's traveling the world. He's an appointment setting manager. He probably has to work like 2 hours a day just managing the sales team. And he's making more money than he's ever made in his life because he just develops that skill set, build that foundation. Next, he might go on to start a business. And whatever business Danny starts, Danny's a great lad. And whatever business he starts, he knows that he's got the sales ability to be able to get sales in his business. And that is going to give him a lot of peace of mind. So you can start off as a setter or closer, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be trapped for the rest of your life. You can easily start here at the foundation level, building this skill set, making $5,000 a month through a sales role, working for someone else, but you've still got that financial freedom, and then go on to become a manager. So you can go setter. You can be a team lead. Because this is like this full-on progression. People don't even understand that there's this whole world inside of Instagram where there's so many businesses that are thriving, and all of these businesses have full-on sales teams. Do you think Iman Gadzhi sits there just hold on, I'm just replying to little Jimmy on Instagram? That would lose Iman Gadzhi a lot of aura if he was just all day texting people, random followers on Instagram. Nah. He's got a whole ass team that does that. In fact, we had 2 guys from our community that got hired by Iman Gadzhi as appointment setters. We had 2 guys, 2 boys. Shout out Abdul and shout out Chan. Both of these guys got hired by Iman Gadzhi in Iman Gadzhi's company to do this. So you can go from setter, you can go to team lead. And funnily enough, Chan is now an appointment setting manager, which is the next step. He's now an appointment setting manager, managing a team of 13 guys on an Instagram account with over 1 million followers. Chan literally could wake up in the morning and see $8,000 come into his account from last month and be like, oh, I don't even know where that came from. Because genuinely, he's managing a team of 13 guys and he's getting paid on performance of all of these 13 guys, which is crazy. So we've got appointment setting manager. Then you can start an agency. Or you can start consulting. Or you can start coaching. Or you can start a software business. Or whatever business that you want to start, but you're going to use the skills that you picked up along the way in order to make the business happen. But either way, learning the skill, instead of trying to do a mad thing, don't be like little Jimmy, who's trying to manage this skill, and start a business. What I recommend is you go the second path. You plug in to an already successful business. Now, everything that I've said in this video applies to my life because I'm 24. I've just moved into my brand new apartment. I'm super grateful for everything I've been able to do in life. I pay my mum a full-time salary. I've paid off my stepdad's mortgage. I've been able to give me and my brother complete financial freedom to the point where we're making 35, 40 grand every single month. And that's given me the finances and the skill set to be able to invest into other businesses. I've got my software company now. I've got my agency. I've got my coaching business. I've got other businesses that I've now created off the back of these skills. But everything that I've spoke about in this video is based on my experience. When I talk about plugging into an already successful business, this could be whatever skill set you think you can provide value with, right? My best friend Jordan, I got him into Alpha Setters. He started making $3,000 to $5,000 a month in commissions every single month, and then realized that he had a passion for filming. So he became a videographer. And now he makes $5,000 a month being a videographer. Again, he's offering a skill. He's plugging into already successful businesses, offering a skill. But the reason why he was able to find these businesses and get customers for his videography business is because he learned how to sell. So everything that I'm saying here is based on sales. It's based on what I've done. This is my journey. I've made this shit happen through getting good at sales. I looked at the data and was like, most millionaires get into sales, so I'm going to get into sales. But it doesn't mean sales is the only path. There's all of these different skills that take a business. Also fulfillment. There's all of these different skills that businesses need in order to be successful. You could plug and play, technically, any of those things. I chose sales because logically, it was the most likely to make me a millionaire. And I wanted to be a millionaire. So it was the most logical thing for me to do. And I already had a background in sales. If you've got a really strong background in marketing or recruitment, then there's no reason why you can't do that too. This is not a one shoe fits all solution. This is not making me making a YouTube video like, this is the best business model in 2026. What I want you to do is I want you to be a functioning human being, a high functioning human being. We're stepping away from all of the silly people of the world for a second. And I want you to be a high functioning human being. And I want you to not take this video for gospel. I need to get into high ticket sales. What I want you to do is I want you to take this video and understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there's two paths that you can go down if you want financial freedom. Just two. You can start a business or you can plug into an already successful business. This doesn't necessarily mean sales. It can mean anything. It can mean anything that you want it to mean. But you need to make sure that the skill that you're learning is actually valuable to a business. Take this lesson. Don't be like little Jimmy. If you go down this path, in 6 months' time, you can turn that frown upside down. On average, it takes the average high-ticket closer or high-ticket appointment setter 2 to 4 weeks to land their first client. And once they land their first client, now it's all up to these three things. How good do they do as a job? And within 2 months, they could have changed their life forever. We had a guy called Jay Rowe, and I've got an interview here on YouTube, and I highly encourage you to go through some of my other YouTube videos. I had a guy called Jay Rowe. I'll write it down so that you guys can all go find the YouTube video. And it's an interview, because this is a guy that came into the community, and within his first 2 weeks, he made his first 2K. And his first 4 weeks, he made his first 4K. And it's like in a month's time, being able to make 4K and be 4K richer is a true blessing. You can move with speed with this. The only thing that's going to stop you is yourself. As long as you've got these three things down, nothing's going to get in your way. There's no luck involved in an industry like this. And I just want you boys to go out there and just fucking smash it. I make videos like this all the time. I try and post as much value as possible. I'm an open book. I'll share anything. If you've got any questions, leave a comment. If you want me to in detail explain anything, leave a comment. I'll fucking do it. I've got a full 6.5 hour free course on YouTube explaining how I got into high ticket sales and how you can do the same, breaking down everything. It's 6.5 hours long. It's not a thing where you've got to sign up for. It's just a video here on YouTube. So I highly encourage you, if sales is the path that you want to go down, just go and scroll through some of my videos and have a look. Because I've had countless messages. I get messages every day of people saying that I've changed their life from my YouTube channel and the amount of value that I'm posting. So go away, have fun. But the main thing that you need to do after watching this video in order to be high functioning is you need to take action. And if you're not going to take action now, you never will.